actually never bartended. And Mark Sims, are you on here? Because I've made Mark Sims a Manhattan at my own house. So I'm gonna throw up. Eric and I were talking about, what we like earlier, and I whittled it down to a Manhattan is a more robust, kind of a more robust. But so if
Joe.
Yeah.
So we can't hear anything Eric is saying. So if you could just repeat whatever he's saying to you, that would help us out a lot.
Eric was concurring with me.
Oh, okay. Great.
He was like, whatever Joe just said is spot on. And it's interesting. I went on this quest about 6-7 years ago to make the perfect Manhattan. And I remember going on a hike on Silver Falls with a friend of mine and asking shaken or stirred. He was a bartender. He's like, well, stirring, shaking it makes it a little cloudy. But by the time you pour it into someone's drink, it doesn't really make a difference. But versus stirred, he goes, but with shaking, you got to get on it fast. He's like, you gotta shake it, and you got to have it ready. So that's kind of how I've always done mine. So it dilutes it way fast. So I tend to prep. I was talking about portions. How many portions you can make at once, and like I can make 4, 5, 6 portions of a Manny in one go, and they kind of go, "Where's your spoons?" This is seriously like driving to the grocery store. Oh, man, this is fancy. This is way fancier than I do at home. So I make a Manhattan with a whiskey, with a bourbon, with a rye, or with a whiskey. To me, the rye, the bourbon is a little sweeter. When I sat down, I ordered a Blanton's bourbon Manhattan from Eric, and it was spot on, man. It was awesome. So bourbon's a little smoother. Rye is a little, like you were talking about with bread, a little spicier. We were talking about like the key to a good Manhattan. The whiskeys are one thing, but it's the vermouth and the cherry. But to me, the cherry makes the Manhattan. And these are the two cherries that I love using. Luxardo's a little juicier. The juice, it's like syrup. It's like pouring syrup out. And the Toshis as well. So I'm almost out of Toshis, so I'm probably going to go with that. So like I was saying, I go mixed or shaken. So I tend to pre-make as much of this as possible. So it's 2 cherries, plus I give a little bit. I go back and give a little bit more. Can everybody see that? All right. This is weird. I've never done this. And then I just go back and I give a little bit more cherry juice. And that cherry juice just helps flatten it out, just helps. I've never used one of these. This is fascinating. I literally just use a spoon from my house. So I pre-make those, and then I shake it. Where's the topper to this? Yeah. So what do you just use? Oh, that guy. Oh, okay. Has anyone ever borrowed someone's car? And you get in and you're like, how the hell do I adjust the seat? That's kind of what we're doing right now. So I'm going to make this one out of Woodford Reserve, and I love this. This whiskey. It's good. So, and this is this happens to be a bourbon. Woodford Reserve makes a great bourbon. And Eric and I were talking beforehand too. It's making these cocktails is like baking. If you add too much sugar to a cake, it comes out bad. I mean, you can screw these up really quick. And I'm not a very good baker, so I really screwed these up when I first started going, and it was because I'm not very good at following recipes. And you have sweet vermouth. Oh, beautiful. There it is. Perfect. All right, I want to get this ready because, like I said, I shake them, so I have to get it all ready. So I put my cherries in, I've got my ice in there, and I'm ready to roll. So I'm going to make a 4 batch. which means I'm going to quadruple my recipe. I'm going to try not to do this over your ice. There. And I love making Manhattans. It's literally one of my favorite things to make. So that's a 4. That's a 4 pour. And then with Manhattans, I do about a 4 or 5 to 1 ratio of my vermouth. I do about a 4 or 5 to 1 ratio. So I just did 4 shots of that. So I'm going to do maybe 4 of, or maybe 1 of that, of the sweet vermouth. I'm trying to do that good. Or not quite fill it up. But about a 4 to 1 ratio, maybe a little less, depends. That, and then some bitters. Boy, and again, your bitter mixture was here. Okay, and like Eric, oh, you know what? I brought my bitters. I like my drink a little sweet. I literally just use this cherry bitters. You can get it in any. So I mean, I'm going with cherries, so I go with cherry bitters. About 3 dashes per. I'm not a big bitters guy, and I don't. I've experimented with this so many times. I'm not a big bitters guy. Yeah. All right. And now to answer Gary's question, hips or arms? I'm more arms. And I will shake this until my hand gets so cold on the bottom that I can't hold it. And Eric and I were talking beforehand. I will make a big batch of this and then strain it off and then put it in the freezer. The colder a Manhattan is, the better. Same with martinis. So you can kind of see that's starting to freeze at the bottom. I can't even touch it, I mean, because it's so cold. So it's starting to freeze a little bit. That's good to go. This dilutes, shaking, like Eric said, it dilutes it a little bit because you're agitating the ice. And then I need one of your fancy. There it is. We're going with the fancy one, the really expensive one. And I've never used these. I have a strainer on top of my shaker. Yeah. That's it. That's it exactly. Yeah, no, you're spot on. One's a little bit light. And then there's ice left, and you're getting rid of that. And then if I made a big batch, I'd put the rest right in that, and I'd serve it up. And because I have cherries on the bottom, sometimes I'll muddle the cherry, but most of the time I just kind of stir it up and hand it out. Yours is a little heavy, John. That is a Manhattan. And I found that I really prefer a lot of cherry juice. A lot of cherry juice and heavy bitters. Good cherries and a rye. Good, John? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I actually do. You're right. All right, I'll work on that. I love Manhattans. And yeah, absolutely. I love Manhattans.
Oh, fantastic.
How is it from the expert?